What's up, everybody? It's Tommy of Titan, back with my second vlog. We're here to talk about a topic brought up in our Discord by Conspiracy, and he wants to know what makes a good player good. And when he asked the question, it was a few more words than that, and he kind of tongue-in-cheek said, is it luck? And it certainly can be. Luck can certainly play a huge role in what is, or how a player is being considered good or bad. But being a good or bad player in this game is a lot more gray. It's hard to quantify how good a player is when there's no competitive scene, no top finishes, no tournaments to go to. There's really only the difficulty that you're playing against. So, if you're a player that can beat Ultron on Heroic 1, I would consider you a very good player. That is a very tall task, in my opinion. And we recently saw the Team Covenant guys showcase that over 4 consecutive streams, once a week for 4 weeks until they finally defeated Ultron Heroic 1. I took them like 20 attempts, I think. So that's kudos to them. That's a challenge, but that's the kind of level of game that I think a good player will find a way to beat. And I feel like they learned a lot, and I learned a lot from watching those streams. So thank you guys for putting that out. But that's really the standard for me, and for the topic of this conversation, the Heroic 1, Ultron, Mutagen formula, Heroic 2, maybe some scenarios. Those are going to be the upper echelon of what's capable of being beaten with the current card pool, in my opinion. So what would make those players good? What sets them apart from other players? I think that there's a couple things that we could talk about. One is certainly luck. You can definitely get a bad draw from either your deck or the encounter deck. There's a ton of variables in card games like this. And, we've got different decks. You've got teammates potentially that could have bad draws that could impact your game and how you end up doing. But at the end of the day, a good player can also overcome bad luck. Not all the time, but sometimes. You might hit a double advance, and that could be the end of the game, for sure. But, maybe you'll be prepared by playing Justice and the Surveillance Van. Maybe that means you're a good player. I don't know. But a good player isn't just about the decisions you make. It's also how you prepare for an encounter. So if you're getting ready to play encounter X and there's a bunch of minions, you build a deck that can combat minions, or you make sure that one of your teammates can combat minions. So you're always prepared, not just in a deck standpoint and how you build your deck, but also in a decision-making standpoint. You're going to make decisions that are going to lend themselves to, I know what I need to do to win this encounter. So I'm going to make decision X over Y. Even though Y has merit, I need to keep my eye on that long-term goal of victory, not that short-term goal here. So that might be as simple as putting multiple cards into play when you're playing a Black Panther aggression deck that needs to filter down its deck to a smaller number so that you can loop those Wakanda Forevers. Or it might be mulliganing extremely aggressively to find tech in an Iron Man build. There are a number of ways to show that decision-making process and what you're doing. And ultimately, it's got to be your plan. I would encourage all players to come up with a plan, a very specific plan, as specific as you can. Think about, okay, going into this scenario, what do I need? What does my deck have? What changes can I make to my deck? Once you have your deck, what is your deck going to do? What are the decisions you need to make to have your deck work at like a fine oiled machine, just that's churning out damage, that's churning out threat removal, churning out card draw, whatever it is that your deck is designed to do. How can you help make decisions to make that deck do it best? That's definitely the sign of a good player, in my opinion. Another thing that a good player is going to do in a game like Marvel Champions is he's going to surround himself with other good players. You can't be the only good player if you're playing a team game and you're trying to take down a heroic level challenge. You're definitely going to need good players with you, or you're going to need players that you're going to be able to coach up and take to that next level. So you're going to want to talk to them. You're going to want to have teamwork with them. You're going to have a strategy prior to the game. There's a lot of planning that goes into defeating these high-level scenarios. And anybody that wants to, I, for one, find that incredibly interesting. I really am looking forward to, the days of social distancing being behind us and us being able to gather with my friends and be able to take down some of these, or at least attempt to take down some of these Heroic 1 difficulty Mutagen formula or Ultron challenges. And then even beyond that, in the big box, I'm extremely excited to take on Red Skull and his Hydra army. So planning with your teammates, building synergies within your decks, and coming up with game plans and things that you guys want to do, and then talking about your decisions in a game. Requesting actions, knowing what your allies can do, so that you can make sure you cover their weaknesses in other areas. What are you going to be able to bring to the table this turn, and what can't you bring to the table this turn? Well, I can't remove this threat, so we don't want to advance that scheme. I need my ally to, and when I say ally, I actually mean like the other players in the game, not the physical card allies. I need my allies to do X, remove this side scheme, remove threat from the main scheme so that we don't advance this turn. These are the things that players are going to talk about during and before a game when they're playing. That's really what I think makes a great player. That's what I think is going to take your game to the next level if that's what you're trying to do. And if it's not, and you want to enjoy the game on normal or expert or rookie mode or whatever mode it is that you find the most enjoyment for you and your play group, then you're playing it right, and you are a good player, because the point of a co-op game is to enjoy the game after all. And that's it for me, Tommy a Titan at the Side Scheme. Hope this was useful in some way, shape, or form. Thanks.